So let's just jump right on in, because I think it's super important, and I have a whole lot of questions. I got the questions out the wazoo, so let's go ahead. So I want to just start. I went on the M&A website. I went on the ANA website, and when Nora came from the M&A, I just literally went down the list of things that the M&A put on her website, and I said, I don't like this because X. I don't want this because Y, so on and so forth. So I'm going to do basically the same thing. To give you guys benefit of the doubt, I gave Nora from the M&A a list of questions prior to her coming. Mm-hmm. I did not do that for them, and I just want to be as transparent as possible. I did not give them a list of questions prior. Nora knew the questions that were coming towards her, but I also added some in. I don't know how many were added and how many were part of the list, but you guys don't know what I'm going to ask you. So credit where credit is due, and I still appreciate you guys coming through. Go ahead.
And frankly, this is feeling very disrespectful.
How so?
You had the research that you were looking at and citing.
Yes.
Could have been shared with us in advance, similar to how you had shared the questions that you were going to ask the M&A representative that you interviewed.
1,000%. And that's why I said it up front, right in the beginning, right? That was my bad. That was Q's fault. That's not the M&A's fault. That's not the ANA's fault. That's me, the person that's setting this whole thing up. That is entirely my fault. And I only thought about that today when it was happening. I was like, oh shit, I should have told them.
And I urge you and those who are watching to keep their minds open longer. There is still time before the November election.
Okay. And
much debate to be had about this issue.
I'm not going to argue with that, because time is time, right? We have until November 6th. But that doesn't, even though I did not give him the time, and that, like I said, is my fault, full responsibility. I'm a horrible person for it, whatever. Time is time, but that doesn't change the information, right? This is not going to change within the next month. The facts that I'm reading are not going to change. The quotes that the ANA have up on their website have been up on their website since they decided to put the website up. None of this is changing because I told them or didn't tell them. I feel bad that I didn't, and I should have, because I did that for the M&A. But with all of that,
we could have had it.
They could have had it, and they should have had it, because that's what I did for the other team. But they didn't, and that's on me. And I do apologize, but that doesn't change this information. The information is still the same. If you consider yourself a representative of the ANA, I don't want to say you should know everything I'm going to ask, but you should definitely know this information, especially if you are 1,000% against this. And just to end, because you guys keep asking about the stats and the information from California, let me just read a couple more. Effect of mandated nurse-patient ratios.
With all due respect, I feel like if we had this information, we were better able to articulate. So to keep using the one source that we haven't had is a little...
So for you to just repeat what your reading is of that is not... helping the conversation and helping there to be a fair debate.
So I sent the questions,
which is essentially what this was a fair debate, which I feel like
we thought it was a fair debate. It doesn't feel that way anymore.
It doesn't. Okay, so just to clarify, 100%, and we can contact Nora and ask her. I sent her the questions. I did not send her. I sent her zero, and I say zero just like in January. There will be 0 fines. 0 studies. All the studies I reported to Nora when I had that conversation with the M&A was strict when I was there. There were 0 studies that I sent her. I sent her the questions. Yes, I should have sent you the questions, but I didn't send Nora any of the studies. Okay, so if you guys still think that this is offensive or not fair or this debate is unleveled, sure, I take responsibility for not taking that, but I didn't send any studies, and these studies are the studies. And yes, it is not one. I put it all on a page because I don't want to be switching from one website to another. But these are 9, 8, 12 different studies that check different things that had positive outcomes after California had put into place these mandated ratios. Do you want me to read a few? Would you like me to read a few, or are you all set? Because I don't. You guys saying number one, it's not true.
Personally, I would rather read the studies myself.
Respect.
Draw my own conclusions.
And I will send it over, and I will put the link in the description below so we can all read it together and we can all find out the information. Thank you guys, and I am sorry that it got a little hectic, and I do say this, and I started it off this way, and I'm sorry that it came out this way, but I have to say At the end of the day, these are my sisters. We're nurses together, right? We're in this together. I just believe that this is a better way to get to safer patient outcomes sooner. They think it's worse because of the way it's going to be laid out, because of the way of the fines, because how it's going to affect, the facilities that are not acute care hospitals. A lot of that stuff I agree with, but when I do my weight, my scale, I think the pros outweigh the cons. When they do their scale, they think the cons outweigh the pros.